I'm fine, Ivan. I'm looking forward to talking with you today.
I'm so happy to see you again. And this is your second time in UFO Disclosure Bulgaria. And everybody, I mean, not right now, but when we finish this Zoom, everybody will watching like that for you.
Oh, I
People,
hope I'm not scaring anybody, but you know.
people know you in Bulgaria, and personally, I know five guys who following ET. Let's talk.
That's good.
Yeah, and they're sharing your no meetings, the schedules for meditation, stuff like this. So
Yeah, yeah.
they're in. Um, so in that beginning, I'm not going to ask you about your story, how that happened and when happened and how you've been involved, because people already know that. Um, Actually, last time when you was in Cat Zoom with Cat, I watching that Zoom, and I had a question for you, but you was very busy, so I'm going to ask you right now that
Okay.
question.
Okay, that's fine. This is good timing.
Yeah, yeah. We know that you had, I mean, tons of kind of this meditations or C5, or I don't know how exactly is the correct to say that. But during these encounters with orbs or anything, after these meetings, have you feel weak, like drained from the energy, kind of physically?
No,
No.
no, not at all. In fact, it gives me energy because um, I get excited. I like to say I'm like a 10-year-old still, you know, after so many years of still seeing lights in the sky or seeing orbs around me or having any other kind of contact, whether it's I get a telepathic message or we get something interesting that happens in our environment that is electrifying. I get excited because it's an indication to me that our group, those of us who have been doing the contact, we have been heard, we have been acknowledged, and to me that's exciting. Rather than draining, it's something that is more inspiring, that makes me want to do even more, because some intelligent being, another intelligence consciousness, or several of them, have responded to us. You know, it's like you're meeting a friend or a relative that you didn't know you had, and you suddenly make a communication and you talk and you see them. So there's that excitement. It's not draining at all. And that's why I keep doing it. If it were draining or hurting me or hurting the people around me in any way, I would walk away from it. But that really just has not been my experience or the experience of my little group or other groups of people that report to me every month about their contact experiences. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. This is very unusual kind of contact or encounter. How that affecting of your not psychology, like for psychology point. I don't know how to figure out this question.
That's okay. Take your time.
This is a completely unusual communication, not like
Yeah.
a normal communication. First of all, you see something unusual, and your conscious or your intelligence start, especially if that you're doing for first time, you start asking yourself, is that real? What's happening? How that happening? What is this? Did they going to, I mean, you say that nobody was hurt, but the first question of when you do that for first time, probably that question will come to your mind. How
I
that, yeah,
So you're asking, how does this affect me psychologically? Maybe what process do I go through?
yes,
That's an excellent question, because I'm no different than anybody else out there watching this. I react like a human being differently to different things. The first time I had my own contact, I reacted in a very analytical way. I'm a scientist. I'm a computer person. I'm very logical and left-brained, love science and math and sequential logical thinking, and that all has its place. And so when I had my first contact experience, that part of my brain, my left brain, is going, okay, what is this? It's not this, it's not that. Am I noticing anything that's going on? Let me remember this. Let me analyze that, because I wanted to make sure that I satisfied myself. If I'm asking myself all these questions about what I'm seeing and trying to eliminate or trying to see if what I'm looking at is really something that is known, that is predictable, and that is not a big deal. Because after all, this kind of contact is not normal, it's abnormal. So you want to eliminate all the things that it can be. And we actually still do that to this day. When I'm in a group and when I teach people, I tell them, okay, you're seeing a light in the sky or you're having an experience. Start asking yourself what's going on and make sure that this is not something that you can explain, because here's what's really neat is when it is a genuine experience, once you have finished your analysis with your left brain and you're saying, okay, this is real, I cannot explain this and it's still going on, what am I seeing? And then for me, my right brain kicks in and I feel this awe, this inspiration that I'm touching something new that the universe is showing me. And that takes me to another place. Like I say, I get excited like a child, and I want to know more. If I'm able, I ask questions in my mind, and I say, hey, if you are real, send me a message, do something. So I switch into a communication mode after that. So you're right. I think this should begin with questioning, analyzing, and then if you are sure it's something real, you enter a whole new experience where you can start interacting with that experience, and you're a voyager then. You're discovering something. You are a pioneer, and it's your own experience. At that point, nobody can take that from you. And that's what I emphasize to people is have that experience, because governments, other people who don't believe in this, they will try to tell you, you didn't see what you saw, you didn't hear what you heard, you didn't experience what you experienced, but they are not the expert, you are. And once you have gone through the process of knowing what you know and what you experienced, no one should take that away from you. And you should continue to be an explorer after that. Keep it up, keep it going, keep discovering.
Mm-hmm. About the telepathy, we're not learning telepathy in school.
Not yet.
My question is, when that encounters happen, did they opening this door for telepathy, and you start doing telepathy? Probably you don't have exactly how that working, but just working.
Yeah, I wish it would be studied a whole lot more scientifically, but I think that day is coming. The truth is, though, a lot of people do experience it in this work. Those thoughts drop in and they go, wait a minute, that's not me. Those are not my words. That's not the way that I think. This is something new. And there are some people that can turn that on, that telepathy, and then turn it off like a switch. They're very good at that. And other people, even like myself, I'm still learning. I can't turn telepathy on and off, but it has happened in my contact experience. I remember early on in 2006 or 2007, the early years when I was first doing this close encounters of the fifth kind communication, the telepathy happened at a point where I had seen lots of lights in the sky, and I went to take a nap. And I'm sure your viewers here will understand. Sometimes as you're falling asleep, your mind goes into this very loose kind of state. You're not yet asleep, but you're very not focused. You're just getting internalized and relaxed. And sometimes you may see images. This is a perfect time for telepathic messages from our star friends to come in. And that happened to me. After the first time I was seeing lights in the sky, I was laying down and getting ready to take a nap, but suddenly, as I'm just relaxing, I see an oval face with big almond, beautiful eyes, and it was an ET face, kind of a very classic uh, type of face that people have seen, large almond eyes, like I said, in an oval shape. And the image just popped into my head like that very easily. I hadn't even been thinking about it, and I heard the words very, very definitely. It was not me, and this image said to me, "Nice to see you again." And that was it. And I was so thrilled. It's like, I want more. How do I turn this back on? I realized that I was seeing an old friend. It's possible in the sky that evening when we had been watching that particular being was piloting one of the craft, and found the opportunity when I was relaxed and I wasn't using my mind and, the monkey mind, lots of thoughts and things going around. Finally, when I was relaxed, I believe that being reached out to me and just said, "Here's my picture. Nice to see you again. We're old friends, I guess." I don't know from where, from when, but when that happens and that it feels really genuine, it's very natural to want more. And what I would say is keep trying to make the contact. This is like finding a distant relative in another country that you didn't know you had, and establishing a connection, maybe with a phone. And it doesn't work so well all the time, but all it has to do is work well a couple times, and you get excited and you make the connection. Well, you want to practice a whole lot more to perfect that connection so that you can have an easy back and forth conversation. I do believe that's what our star friends want. They want us to go inside, develop ourselves, and connect with them telepathically, because they want to have conversations. It's not just about just seeing lights in the sky. That's great, but it's also about establishing a relationship. They told me early on, I think it was in 2010, that we should think of them not as gods at all, but they said, think of us as family. We are elder brothers, sisters, and cousins. And I thought, that's great. I'm very comfortable with that. This is not weird or anything. This is within the context of what I understand human family is like. I now have some cosmic family. I don't know the whole story, but now I know they're there. And it's up to me to be still, go inside and establish that communication and develop it. Develop that relationship like I would with another human being over Zoom, somebody that I like. I want to get to know them better. There's nothing different about this. I think it's the most natural thing in the world, and we need to start getting used to that. I will say that because of conditions on Earth being chaotic in so many ways, my personal belief is that these many star civilizations that are visiting us and wanting to communicate cannot yet show themselves fully, like en masse. And I mean, we all want a big mass landing. Many of us have had that dream, where it happens. The sky is full of ships and they come down and they start sharing their technologies, their wisdom and all that. Many of us have had that dream, but for right now, I don't believe that that's possible. And again, this is my personal belief that while we human beings are killing each other because the other person's skin is a different color than yours is, this is not very evolved. Until we can establish a more stable environment on Earth and peace among ourselves, I think that the cosmic beings find it much easier to reach us through telepathy rather than being able to come down, although they have done that, and I have met some, and other people I know have, like in small ones and twos. But what I'm talking about is a mass event. It's easier right now for them to reach us telepathically, to show themselves as lights in the sky, as orbs, and in many, many other creative ways to show their presence, because they cannot, I believe, as yet land and have the world accept them totally the way that really should be possible. So telepathy is a good, well, it's necessary, but it's a good fallback position for now for them given the situation on Earth.
Before to move, one more question about that telepathy. Some of the people I meet and talking with them, my contactees, they said that some of them, they hear a voice in the head, in them language,
Mm-hmm.
and telling them something. The other people, they just have something like a thoughts, but in the mind, and you know stuff, but you don't know how you know it. You just know it.
Yeah, the brain is a wonderful thing. There must be many ways that when it receives a telepathic message, the brain then interprets it and does something to bring it down to the level of the reality that we're in. And I know exactly what you mean. Some people have said that to me. They say, I just know this, I don't know how I know it, but I know it. And other people say to me as well, I hear the thoughts and I know that's not my voice because I would not use such vocabulary, or I would not think of talking in this way. So they know that. Other people say they feel like a crumpled up piece of paper, let's say, has dropped into their brain, and the paper then opens up, almost like you took a wad of paper and you crushed it like that, but it's a paper of knowledge, and it drops into their brain and it starts uncrinkling, opening up like this with all the knowledge coming out. And then they see pictures and they read words in their mind, or they hear it talking to them. There's just a lot of different ways. And it really excites me as people contact me about their experiences to find out all the many different ways. One size does not fit all. And isn't that wonderful? We all have diversity in how we can receive these communications.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, you have a lot, how many members you have right now? More of 1 million, I think.
The People's Disclosure Movement has more than 1 million members all over the world. And I think that's a conservative estimate too. When I started in 2010, when I created the label of People's Disclosure Movement, there were not many practicing groups across the planet. But oh my God, since then, as social media has grown and as news of this contact has spread, this CE5 movement is all over the planet now. As well, TV series here in the United States, such as the Ancient Aliens and shows on the History Channel, lots of documentaries have come out, have continued to open people's minds. So that's why I say 1 million is a low estimate. In fact, in 2016, there was a firm a research firm in the Netherlands, who did a very scientific study, a very rigorous study with, I think, 24,000 volunteers, asking them lots of questions about extraterrestrial life, what their beliefs were, because it was the belief of the people that conducted this survey that it's been 40 years now that since shows like Star Trek were created, movies like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. So much media has been out there that has opened a lot of minds, that this firm wanted to do the research to see, well, what are the global attitudes now, 40 years later, after all these shows? And to make a long story short, they asked a lot of questions, but 2 questions that they asked really were of interest to me, and that was, do you believe in that there's intelligent life in other star systems? And that means not just a little microbe under a rock, but civilizations, intelligent life. And a certain number of the people responded yes in this research. The next question was, well, okay, if you believe there is intelligent life, do you believe we should be contacting them? And a certain percentage of people said, well, yes, we should. If you take those percentages from this study and you apply them to the whole planet, you extrapolate from just this one study, what I found was the answer is 1.3 billion people, that's billion with a B, on this planet, adults, believe that intelligent star civilizations exist and that we should be contacting them. That's like 1 out of 7, 1 out of 8 adults on the planet. Not all of them are making contact like you and others in our groups because they don't know it's possible. But what I'm saying is their mind is open to the possibility of this life, and that if they were to find it, they would want to communicate. So these are the people that the People's Disclosure Movement is trying to reach, and especially the younger generation, because those young people all over the world have grown up not with a negative attitude towards space and towards life out there, but with a positive attitude because they've grown up with the Close Encounters movies, with the E.T. movies. You know, that's like their childhood. That wasn't my case, you know, or maybe not yours, but this is the low bar they came in with. So their mind is very open. And the People's Disclosure Movement, as we go along, needs to be finding a lot more people in the younger generation and telling them, hey, we know your mind is open. Did you know that you can contact at will, make your own contact, and take your power back from all the governments who are telling you there's nothing going on up there? Well, that's baloney, as we say in the U.S. I have another word, but I'll keep it clean here. We know they're here, they're clear, so let's get used to it. And the younger generation will take us to the stars. And that's why the People's Disclosure Movement is very open to teaching and reaching out to the younger generation.
Just a week or maybe 2 weeks ago, DOD representative in the congressional hearing, I watched that. I don't know if you're familiar with that. They said, yeah, we're familiar with the Project Blue Book. People, the American people in the world, they supposed to know. We need to discover that through new things. We know that they're not ours. We know that they're not Russian and Chinese. And then when the other people, the congressmen, start asking questions, they denied everything, which is, this is stupid.
No, it's not. They're not stupid. It is stupid, but they're not stupid. It's a cover-up. It's a continued cover-up. And it's a drip disclosure. They will admit a little bit here, a little bit there, and they know so much more than what they're telling us. And we know that. We know they're lying. We know they've been covering up, and they know that we know that, but they're not going to admit it. And that's why I tell people the People's Disclosure Movement is an answer to those kinds of hearings and to 70 years of cover-up. We are the answer. We, the people. We take back our power that we have given to the authorities. You know, we have been worshiping them, you know, and saying, please, will you hold a press conference and tell us, you know, all these secrets you've been holding from us? Please, you know, Mr. Prime Minister, Mr. President, Miss this, that, you know, heads of state, hold the press conference, tell us, admit it.
Yeah.
Boy, stop. I'm telling people, stop waiting for that.
Yeah.
Because if you take your power back and you grab your lawn chair, sit outside in your favorite spot where you find peace and look at the sky, or in your living room, you can make the contact anywhere, and you transform from being a believer in this to being a knower. And once you have your own experience and have seen what these governments are trying to hide from us, when you've had your own experience, nobody can take that from you, and you have taken your power back. So there are millions of people who are open-minded to that, and that's what the People's Disclosure Movement is about. We, the people, become the disclosure. We are doing the disclosure, and we're not putting our energy into all these committees and all this news that is going around and round in circles. They've been playing this game with us for how long are we going to put up with that, right? We now have the tools. It's free. We don't need radar antennas, you know. millions of dollars to point at the sky and send out messages. Here in the US, you can buy a chair for $20 that's comfortable, maybe $40, a gravity chair, haul it out in your yard, you lay back nicely, and within a few tries, maybe it won't happen the first time, but if you're persistent, for almost no money, you can have your own experience, and you don't need all these committees and all these authorities to tell you what you already know.